Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and watching our previous videos on Python. So we are continuing with our Python series on this video. So today we are going to learn about conditional statements. So we are going to learn about decision making in Python and control flows. So we'll start our video with if a statement. So we learn how to use if statement in Python and to execute a block of code based on a certain condition. So in Python, if statement uh, is used to check the condition first. So the syntax for if statement is you do if, then you provide the condition, then if block. So you do now provide the code to be executed. So we can start with an example. Let's say we say age is equals to, we take input from the user, then we put in our string, we say enter your age. So when the user enters the age, so we now check the age being entered. So let's do the type conversion. You can check on our videos about type conversion on our basics, Python basics, which is I'll paste the video link on this description, so you can check down below and you can watch it. So we take the age that has been provided by the user, and we check if it's greater or equal to 18 years. So if it is greater or equal to 18 years, then we print, we say, let's put in, we say you are eligible to vote in Kenya. So you are eligible to vote in Kenya. So here we put in a full column. That is it. So let's execute this code. So right click on it, then new. So you see it is asking us enter your age. So I'll provide 20. So you can see the output, you are eligible to vote in Kenya. So assuming you enter the age that is less than 18. So we can actually even print in some statements here. Assuming we do another line of code, then we say you are eligible to vote, and let's vote. Let's go and vote. Let's go and vote. So if you do that, vote. So if you execute this code, it will ask us the age. You can say 20. Then you can say you are eligible to vote in Kenya. Let's go and vote. So in our example, we are actually executing this code based on the age. So in Python, indentation, we call it indentation. Let's just indentation. So in Python, indentation is very important. You can see on our code, the line of this code is actually the same. So any statement that follows the if statement needs to have 4 spaces. So you need to know that. So if you don't use the indentation correctly, the program will work differently. So assuming we just take our last line of code and we push it to our left. So you can see it is actually throwing an error. So it is throwing an error. So that code won't work. So if we just run this, you can see it says an indent does not match any outer indentation level. So indentation is in Python is very important. So you need to keep that in mind. So you can see if we just run now, it will execute. So typically, if you want to perform an action when a condition is true, and another condition when the condition and another action when the condition is false, then we use if else statement. So currently we have just used if. So if we just want to print you are eligible to vote in Kenya, assuming this user give us an age that is less than 18. Remember, we are only printing this, you are eligible to vote in Kenya if the user gives us an age equal to or greater than 18 years. So that is when we introduce else statement. So assuming the user gives us 16 years, then we need to say else. So if the age is less than 18, we print, now we provide the output. We say you are not eligible to vote. So now if we just run this code, you see it is asking for age. You see, if we provide 20, it says you are eligible to vote in Kenya. Assuming we provide an age less than 18, let's say 16. So you see, it says you are not eligible to vote in Kenya. So it will check the condition, then output this block of code that is down there. So that is how you use if else. So if you want to check multiple conditions, assuming you want to check multiple conditions and perform actions accordingly, you can use if else statement. So the else stands for else. So else if statement. You can use, so assuming we want to check a certain condition. So we have allowed the user. So let's check for an example. Age, so the user will give us the age. Let's say my age will be is equals to int, then we take our age. So that is our age. So assuming we want now to check my age, if my age is greater than 18, we say you are eligible to vote in Kenya. Assuming we want to check another condition, else we want to allow those who are 10 and above to take an ID before they go and vote. So we say so we use if. You see this, if. So we use if. So if we check our age, we say if age, so this one should be, you can actually remove this. So we say else age is less than 16. If age is less than 16, we say you can vote by taking your ID card first. So that is our first line of code. So it will check if the age is less or equal. We say let's take if age is, let's say, greater or equal to, no, let's say if age is less than or equal to 16, you can say you can vote by taking your ID card. So assuming we want to print if, so let's say, so we have done if else. So let's say somebody keyed in to 10 years. So we don't want those users to print, let's say, so let's say, so in case, let's say, yeah, so we can do this, then we say else, you say you are not eligible to vote. You are not eligible to vote in Kenya. So if we run this code, it will ask us for the age. You see, if we do 20, it will tell us you are eligible to vote in Kenya. So if we run again and we say 16, you see it is saying you can vote by taking your ID card first. So assuming we do 10, you see you can vote by taking your ID card first. So it is because 10 is actually less than 16. So let's take, we say if age is equal to 18, let's do this. If age is equals to 18, you are eligible to vote in Kenya. If age is greater or equal to 16, you can take, else you are not eligible to vote. So let's do this. So if we do 18, it will tell us you are eligible to vote in Kenya. If we do 17, it will tell us you can vote by taking your ID card first. You see, but in case we do 10, you see it is telling us you are not eligible to vote in Kenya. So that is how you use the if, else statement to determine the conditions. So that is it. So we have actually used the if statement. We have done if else and if else statement. So the next thing that we need to check on Python, let's check on the ternary operator. So we are going to check about ternary operator and how to use it to make your code more concise. So let's do this. So if we're printing age is equals to enter your age, we say maybe if age is greater than or equal to 18, then let's take, so assuming we want to print the age, so we'll say print 18. So it says let's do this, you are, so do this 18, then years old. So if you are greater or equal to, we say you are 18 and above years old. So then else we can say you are below 18. So let's just take this and we do you are below 18 years old. So let's run this. So our age, if we do 18, sorry, no, we should actually print this. So age, so let's run this. We say 18. You are, so there is an issue. Can only concatenate string, not int. Yeah. So let's do this. So we will do a string, then we put in our 18. So this is actually something that we showcased on our previous video, so you can actually watch it. So you are, let's take the my age, which is being input by the user, my age. So if we run this, we'll do 18. So it says you are 18 and above years old. So here we can do some spacing. We run again. Sorry. Let's run. So 18. It says you are 18 and above years old. So assuming we provide 10 years, you are below 10 years old. You are below 10 years old. So that is how you use that. So we have done if else statement. So let's look at the for loop. So let's look at the for loop. So let's look at the for loop. So in Python, We are going to learn about using for loop and how to execute a block of code for a fixed number of times. So in programming, you often want to execute a block of code multiple times. So this is not exceptional in Python. So we are going to execute a certain code multiple times. So to do that, we are using for loop. So for, we say index. So this is our variable in range. We provide in 5. So we want to print 1 up to 0 up to 5. So we'll do print, then we say index. So you want to print from 1 up to 5, we'll do this. So if we just run this code, it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, up to. So it is actually items. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will start from 0. So in this example, you can see we are actually looping through and executing the statement print index, which exactly it does 5 times. So if you want to show number 5 from the code, you can actually do, if you want to show from 1, 2, 3, we can take our index, then we add 1. So if we print this, it will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want to show 1, 2, 3 up to 5. So that is how it will do. So in this example that we have just shown, it will increase the index by 1 in each iteration and print it out. So we have actually specified the range. So by default, the range function uses 0 as the starting point for the sequence, this one. So, and in addition, the range function allows you to specify the starting number. So in case you want to specify the starting number. So let's do this. So we can say 1, then 6. Then we can remove this. The starting number is 1. So if we do run, sorry, event close what? This says index. So print, what is wrong? Okay, so let's run this. So you can see it is starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So by default, it will know that it is starting from 1. So this is the start range. So this is the start and this is the stop. So it will actually do that. So to increase the start value by a different number, you can use the range function. So the range function is, we can actually, if you want to increase the start value by a different number, so we will do, so we will have the start, then stop. So this is the start, stop, then we can have the number, the step that we want to increase either by 2. It will be able to increase the starting number by 2. So let's run this. So it will, you can see it is 1, then 3, then 5. So it is actually incrementing. So assuming we want to print up to number 20, the stop is number 20. So if we run this again, it will, you can see it is 1, 3, 5. So it is jumping 2 items per iteration. So that is how you use for loop. So using Python for loop, we can actually use Python to calculate sum of a sequence. Assuming, for example, we say sum is equals to 0. So we want to calculate the sum of a sequence. So we can say this sum is can do 20, the range. Then we want the sum will be will be plus equal to, so we are adding to our number. So the sum of our sequence, which is our, so the sequence will be index. Then we print, so we are going to print the sum. So we want to find the sum of the number of sequence. So if we do this, if we run this, you can see it is 0, 1. So it is adding every iteration. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus the next iteration, which is 2, is 3. 3 plus the next iteration, which is 3, is 6. So that is how it is adding. So we have as our sum of sequences 190. So so how this work is, the sum is initialized by 0, which is our first sum. Then the second, the sum is added with the number from 1 up to 20. So on each iteration. So finally, it will show us the sum of all the iterations. So that is how you do it. So the next thing that you can check is while loop. So we are going to check how we use while loop. So Python while statements allow you to execute a code block repeatedly as long as a certain condition is actually true. So let's say we can define a maximum value. Say maximum value is 5, then counter is equals to 0. So we say while counter is less than maximum value, we want it to print the counter. Then after it has printed the counter, we actually increment it by 1 so that it actually repeats until it is less than 5. So we plus equal to 1. So we can do this. So if we run this, you'll see our first counter is 0 because counter was 0. So it will print until our counter is less than the maximum value, which is 5. So you can see it has printed from 0 up to 4. So how this works is first it defines two variables, which is we have defined two variables, which max and counter. Then we have initialized the values for 5 and 0. Secondly, the while statement with the condition counter is less than max, it will execute the body as long as the value of counter is less than the maximum value. Then the third thing that it will do is it will show the value of the counter variable and increase it by 1. So assuming we want to say is less or equal to max, it will actually print the number 5, which is the last item. So that is how you use while statement. So we can check for, so there's something that we can learn today. Assuming we want to jump out or break the statement. So we are going to learn something called break statement, which is actually used to exit a loop prematurely. So sometimes you may want to terminate a loop, a for loop, or even a while loop prematurely, regardless of the results of the conditions. So assuming we can use a for loop to demonstrate that, we can say for, we say index in range. So we do start and stop. Then we say we print the index. And we say if the index value is equals to, let's say is equals to 4, then we want our loop to exit. So we want our loop to actually, so we can actually do this without, yes. So if the index is equals to 4, it will actually stop. It will exit. So if we run that, you see, it has printed from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 4. Then it exited. So it has looped through. When it found out that the index is 4, it actually prematurely terminates the loop. If we increase this to 9, it will run up to number 9. So if it is 9, remember we have printed it. Then it now checks, then it exits. So that is how you use break. So break statement is actually used to terminate the loop prematurely. So the next thing that we can check is continue. So the continue statement in Python is used inside a for or a while loop. The continue statement will actually skip the current iteration and start the next one. So typically you use the continue statement with an if statement to skip the current iteration once the condition is true. So assuming we want to run, we say for index, let's see how the continue statements work in range. So we provide our start and the stop. We say we want from 0 to 10. Then we say if index if index so let's print a value that is divisible by 2. So if it is divisible by 2, we continue with next. So you can see it has printed 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So if we have break here, it will terminate at the first value. You see, it has terminated at 0. So if we continue, it will actually check that those that are divisible by 2, then it will proceed. If it is not divisible by 2, it jumps. So assuming we want also to print, so if value is not divisible by, let's say, divisible by 3, so it will only, you can see it is actually providing those values that are divisible by 3. So if it is not, it jumps, then it checks for the next value. So that is how you use continue. So the next thing we can, with Python, we have something called pass statement as a placeholder. So assuming we want so that is it in Python. So remember to subscribe and actually watch our previous videos. The link is down below. Share, comment, and leave any suggestions. So see you in our next video. Bye.